Milwaukee heated gear is super popular, and this tough shell jacket uses Milwaukee's M12 batteries to heat elements that keep you toasty warm in the coldest weather. However, like all things Milwaukee, it's expensive. Coming in at less than half the price is this heated jacket from Neveland, a brand that you probably haven't heard of. It uses its own purpose-built battery to power even more heating zones than the Milwaukee jacket. Does twice the price mean twice as good? I'm gonna find out. I'm gonna give you an overview of the features of each jacket and compare them against each other. Then, spec sheet aside, I'm gonna tell you which jacket actually performs better at keeping you warm. But there's one twist at the end that makes me hesitant to recommend either jacket. Both jackets will be linked in the video description, so if you need more information, I've always got you covered. The battery on both of these jackets is the power behind the whole operation, so let's start there. I was initially drawn to the Milwaukee heated jacket because it uses Milwaukee's M12 battery, which we all know and love. If you're a blue-collar guy in the trades and a Milwaukee Tools fangirl like I am, you've got plenty of these batteries laying around already. The form factor is 3 battery cells arranged in a triangular pyramid, and while it works great at sliding into the handle of a power tool, it's less ideal for powering clothing due to size, bulk, and weight. The battery charges really fast, and runtime can be in the neighborhood of up to 3 hours on high, which is actually pretty good. And like I stated earlier, I already have a bunch of these and you might too, so hot swapping batteries out really shouldn't be a problem. The Neveland jacket uses a more generic power bank style battery, and it's actually a lot more comfortable than the Milwaukee battery. It has a sleek, low profile design that's actually much less noticeable in your pocket. These generic power bank style batteries are actually pretty cool because they generally have a lot of ports on them and are somewhat interchangeable. I made another video about the Milwaukee jacket where I criticized the battery's form factor, and people in the comments were triggered. They would say things like, "It's not that bad," and "Quit complaining," and "Stop crying." Those Milwaukee guys got very upset. And they're right, it isn't that bad. I guess my point is more, it's not that good. Here's a fun little test to prove my point that you can do at home if you already have an M12 style battery. Take that M12 battery and put it in your pocket. Now imagine it's even bigger because in the jacket it has to clip into the adapter, and that adds even more bulk. Now take your phone, which is much flatter and I assume in a case. That's going to simulate the shape of a generic power bank style battery. It's not perfect, but you get the general idea. Put that in your other pocket. Now bend, flex, squat, move around a little bit. You see how terrible that is? Check out that bulge. Oh, is that a battery in your pocket, or are you just happy to see me? Oh, it is a battery. Oh, okay. The Milwaukee battery gets points for recharging quickly, and it wins the popularity contest because you probably already have some. But comfort goes to the Neveland battery because I can barely feel that it's in my pocket at all, compared to the Milwaukee that is bigger and bulky. Runtime between these two jackets is similar, about 3 hours on high, but the Neveland jacket powers twice the amount of heating elements that the Milwaukee jacket does. More on that in a second. Now the power button to turn on these two jackets is pretty different. The Milwaukee takes a long press and then is illuminated to let you know that it's powered on. It has 2 zones that are independently controlled with 3 different heat settings that are indicated by how many bars are lit up. Simply press the button to toggle between the modes until you have the setting that you want. I always go full power and I never feel like it gets too hot. More on that later too. Neveland is similar, but they do something way different that is way better. They use 2 buttons for the 2 different heat zones, similar to Milwaukee. They locate the battery on the bottom edge of the jacket. The Neveland also has different colors to signify the different temperatures. Red being the hottest, blue being the low setting, and white being the middle power level. But what is really cool about the Neveland jacket is that when you are done turning it on and adjusting the temp setting, the light actually turns off. I know it doesn't sound like much, but with the Milwaukee's power location being front and center in the chest of the jacket, I hate how the light stays on all of the time. Light up clothing is cool when you're a kid and your shoes light up, but having that light stay on all the time feels gimmicky and kind of attention seeking. People will see it and they absolutely will ask you about it, so get ready for comments like, "Oh, is that one of those heated jackets?" I've seen those actually. Yeah, I've been wondering about them myself. Yeah. Is it warm? How long does the battery last on that thing? Neveland is a genius for having the light go dark 60 seconds after you're done touching it. And the fact that the Milwaukee button is a Milwaukee M12 logo and that it stays lit all of the time makes me feel like they do it a little bit for marketing. Turning their customer base into walking light up billboards is pretty clever on their part. I usually wear the jackets at night and the light from the Milwaukee is just really bright and kind of distracting. I much prefer incognito mode for my jacket, and Neveland wins this. Plus I work part-time stealing catalytic converters out of cars at night, so I want my jacket as dark as possible. Moving on to exterior features, fit and finish, and we've got some differences to talk about. Plus the Neveland has two things that are so weird that I've never seen them on any other jacket. So both jackets have great styling and could be standalone jackets, heating elements and batteries aside. They both look great. The Milwaukee is more of a work jacket, and the ripstop outer material is actually way more durable for manual labor. The Neveland is more of a casual winter jacket, and I'd be more likely to wear it snowboarding or just out and about casually running errands. The Neveland jacket has a detachable hood that I am always a fan of. Great to have if you want it, and if you don't, simply zip it off and put it in your pocket. The two weird features with the Neveland jacket start with the sleeves. At the end of the sleeve, the cuff is somewhat rolled under and hidden, so from the outside, it just looks like the sleeve kind of stops, which is kind of a weird look. I think the function of the design is to mesh up with gloves perfectly and prevent wind from entering that cuff area. And it probably does offer more protection from wind or snow in the wrist. It just looks really strange and incomplete. And I think it just makes the jacket look cheaper than it is. Now the arm patches are where things get really interesting. The logos on the arm are actually patches that Velcro into place. They are totally detachable, and the jacket comes with multiple options, meaning you can decide which patches to put there. I'm rocking the flag and the brand patch, but this feature is something I've never seen on any other jacket. It's really weird to have any branding on the arm like that, and the flag logo makes me feel like I'm an Olympic athlete or something. Both jackets are made out of polyester, but the Milwaukee wins on durability, being more of a work jacket, but the Neveland isn't bad. Now the stitching and construction on the Milwaukee jacket outclasses the Neveland by a mile. It's just a higher quality garment, but for the price, it frickin' better be. The Neveland jacket is made in China, whereas the Milwaukee jacket is made by dairy farmers in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I'm just kidding. The Milwaukee jacket's also made in China. All right, so when it comes to performance, which jacket actually works better? Well, the Milwaukee jacket has 3 heat zones: back, chest, and pockets. And while that seems like pretty good coverage, it is simply no match for the 6 heating zones on the Neveland jacket. If warmth is your main concern, I can guarantee you that the Neveland jacket gets way hotter than the Milwaukee jacket ever could. I mean, it has double the heat zones, literally twice as many heating elements. It makes sense. The Neveland has 2 heat zones in the back, upper and lower, 2 heat zones in the front, 1 in the chest area, 1 in the pocket area, and the bonus heat zone in the neck is next level. That's such a great spot to get just a little bit extra warm. The Milwaukee jacket is simply outnumbered and outgunned. It's not just the number of heat zones though, it's also the placement that plays a role in the jacket's performance. For example, the pocket area on each jacket has a heat zone, but Milwaukee places the heating element on the outside of the pocket, furthest away from your body. Which means when you're using the pocket, it kind of works and you can sort of feel it, but when your hand isn't in your pocket, that heating element is way too far away from your body to actually feel it, so it's essentially worthless. The Neveland jacket has the heating element for the pocket area up against your body, so when your hand's in your pocket, you can feel it, but when you aren't using the pocket, it's still close enough to your body for the heating element to be effective. I did a lot of testing on both of these jackets, but the Neveland is the only one that when cranked up all the way gets uncomfortably hot. It claims that it has an internal safety switch that shuts the jacket off at 150 degrees, but I don't know, man. Now that too hot claim that I just talked about, that happened in the car on a long car ride, so in normal working conditions of being outdoors, you don't really have to worry about too hot. That's not really a thing with these jackets. In fact, in most scenarios outdoors, these jackets are more of a pleasantly warm situation compared to a holy crap, this thing is way too hot. With that said, at the beginning of the video, I said there's one thing that makes me hesitant to recommend either of these jackets, and it's really more heated jackets in general, and that's this. If it's winter and you are wearing anything other than a t-shirt underneath your jacket, any kind of layer of clothing is going to diminish the heating returns from the jacket. This may sound obvious, but anything like a sweatshirt or a quarter zip fleece or a hooded sweatshirt, anything that gets between you and the heating elements of the jacket is going to make the jacket less effective. Now, some people commented on my last heated jacket video saying things like, I like just being able to wear a t-shirt under my winter jacket. I think it works great. And that might be good in some milder climates, but I live in Minnesota and it gets freaking cold. And neither of these jackets have heating elements in the arms, so I don't see that technique working out for me. I've done a fair bit of heated gear testing on the channel, and what I've found works best is to have the heating elements as close to your body as possible. So that means tighter fitting clothing, and heating up base layers like hoodies and vests are going to net you better results. Jackets are the outermost layer furthest away from your body, and often obstructed by multiple layers of clothing, and in my opinion, offer the least amount of heat. I've tested heated jackets, hoodies, vests, gloves, scarves, hand warmers, and blankets on the channel. And I'm gonna link a few of those videos here for you. And a reminder that both jackets tested in this video are linked in the video description. If you want more information, it is there for you. Stay warm and thanks for watching.